Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Think Future. My name is Calabucas, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation, startups, the future, not necessarily those, not necessarily in that order. What do you think of my new video camera? You like the new 4K look? Hopefully it's not too scary. Anyways, if you're watching on YouTube, please smack that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can get notifications when the new show comes up. And if you're on a podcast service, whatever podcast service you're on, please subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And if you could throw us a review, I don't know why I say us, it's me, throw me a review on Apple Podcasts, that would be greatly appreciated. So, one of the things human beings are the most concerned with is fear. Fear is the mind killer. Well, okay, that's obscure Dune reference. Fear is something that we run from. We run from fear. We hate feeling fear. Fear is the worst. And everyone knows the old saw, right? What's the difference between fear and anxiety? Fear is being tied to the railway tracks, and anxiety is thinking about being tied to the railway tracks. I think most of us actually live in a state of anxiety as opposed to a state of fear. Because the reality is that we don't really know what's going to happen if we take that move. We're afraid of taking that move, and we're thinking about taking that move. We're thinking about, and this is what I think about, for example, when you're trying to innovate. We're trying to innovate in an organization, or you're trying to change things in an organization. You're trying to change the culture within an organization. You're trying to change the way things work in an organization. This machine, whether it's well-oiled or not, whether it's working well or not, every time you try to bring change into this organization, or whatever it is, you will always get pushback. You will always get pushback against this change because of fear. People are afraid of change. And the reality is they're not afraid of change. They're anxious about change. And a lot of times, we want to bring change into our organizations because we are 100% sure that this change that we bring into our organizations will be beneficial to the organization. But we're afraid of two different things. On the one hand, we're afraid that people will not want this change within the organization. We are afraid of being ostracized from the organization because of our desire to bring change to the organization. See, I think we as innovators are almost more afraid of the being ostracized than we are the innovations. Now, personally, I don't care. I want to bring innovations into an organization. I want to change organizations, especially organizations that are failing. They're losing their customers. They're having trouble. They don't understand what's going wrong, and it's like they say to themselves, well, this is how we've always done it. Well, how we've always done it isn't working any longer. The world has changed. The world is different. You can't do things the way you did them before. Everything is new. All these realities that we're coming into are new, and we have to do new things. We need to innovate. And then when you come in with a message of innovation, when you come in with a message of change, some people are afraid to come in with a message of change because they feel they're going to be taken away from the group. I mean, we are in such a situation now that speaking against the group, not agreeing with what everybody else is saying, not being a team player, quote unquote, could be grounds for dismissal. We take our jobs and our lives on the line whenever we try to do something against the group, or we try to guide the group in a different direction. We are afraid, they are afraid of the change, and we are afraid of what the group will do to us when we try to push the change. So these two forces keep the change from coming. We need to have the courage to be able to say, we're going to make this change, and if it kicks me out of the group, if I am ostracized out of the group, we need to be strong enough to say, being ostracized is not going to hurt me. Because being ostracized is one of the worst things that can happen to people. It's worse than physical pain. Being ostracized, being kicked out of a group, no longer being in the in crowd. That is one of the worst things that can happen to a human being. But you know what? We can get past it. We have to get past it. But if we don't get past that, if we don't get past the ability of bringing change into an organization, change it desperately needs, then that organization may not last much longer. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.